PromptFoo is one of the most popular AI testing tools on the market, but for some reason I was not able to find a clear step-by-step instruction on how to use it, on what is it, on YouTube. There are some videos, but honestly speaking, they were confusing. I've decided to record one for you, as I always do. And on this video, I'm going to walk you step by step and explain what is PromptFoo and show you multiple examples on how to use it, as will potentially become an AI test engineer. But before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself in case you're new here. My name is Sergey Kromchenko, and I'm a software QA engineer, lead manager, and a senior engineering manager of SDET in the past. But these days, I'm helping people like you to become a QA engineer from scratch, or to improve your existing skills, become a machine learning engineer, AI test engineer, whoever you want to become in the world of tech, as I love teaching people. Now, hit the like button below and let's get started. Step number one, let's actually create a folder and open it up. I'm going to navigate to desktop, create a new folder, call it PromptFoo-setup, and I will open it up. And by the way, guys, I'm using VS Code. You can use Cursor, you can use whatever IDE you prefer, which is Integrated Development Environment. I'm going to stick to VS Code here with the Cloud Assistant right there. So we did open up our folder right here. I'm going to close this one, open a terminal by pressing Function Control tilde. And there are a couple of ways to install it, but let me get to Google PromptFoo install. Then we're gonna get to the first page right here, and you can clearly see the script. You can copy it, paste it to your VS Code, or you can simply ask Claude to install it. If you guys are using Claude, you should do that. Absolutely, you should be AI as that first. But if you're not using Claude or any other AI assistants, simply run this command npm install -g, and it will install PromptFoo for you. It might ask you a couple of questions. You might run into an issue with the Node version, and you'll need to make it at least Node version 22 as of right now. Mine is set to Node 22 by default, and I will show it to you in 1 second after it actually runs it. And -g means that pretty much, let me actually explain the whole thing in case you're new here. npm stands for Node Package Manager. Install, so it speaks for itself. -g means global, which means, hey, install PromptFoo globally on your computer, not here in this folder, but globally. And PromptFoo is the name of the product that npm or Node Package Manager is installing. So as soon as it's done installing, then you will be able to initialize your PromptFoo. Let's take a look. What is happening here? All right, current version 18, but should be more than 20. Okay, that's pretty much an error we're getting into. So I will update my version in a second after it finishes execution. Or you know what, let me just kill it. Let me just kill it with Control C and say nvm use 22. Now we are using Node v22, and I'm going to run it one more time. And by the way, I quickly got to this script by pressing arrow up on my keyboard to go up in the history to previous commands. All right, conflict period dependency. Some libraries are having dependency issues, but let's see what it's going to come up to. Perfect, it's all set. Now, after it has been installed, we're going to say PromptFoo init, which stands for initialize. So it would initialize the default setup right here, and then we could run our tests. What would you like to do? Not sure yet? Compare prompts and models, improve RAG performance, improve agent chain through performance, red teaming evaluation. Let's just say not sure yet, so we would set it up later and do the same thing one more time. Cool, now we've got our first files here, and I'm going to open them up. So PromptFoo on its own, it utilizes YAML files only, which means it's pretty much a human language. It's a simplified version of JSON if you have not worked with YAML before. So pretty much these are test suites. And we have a couple of prompts here. And 1 and 2, we have a couple of providers which are large language models, and I'll actually change those to 4.0 and to 4.0 mini. And there are a couple of tests here. So these are prompts. As you can see, providers are LLMs. Let me put it right here, LLM, and our actual tests. And we have multiple variables that will get pasted here. As you can see, write a tweet about, and then topic, and it comes here. Topic number 1, test number 1. Topic bananas, test number 2, topic avocados. These are dummy tests just for you guys to see how it works. Just as any other test automation frameworks such as Playwright or Cypress would have, so you would understand basics. And then we have assertions. So test number 1, test number 2, assert contains avocado, prefer shorter output, JS assertion right here. Then we have another one, New York City. So write a tweet about in New York City. Assert that it ensures that the output is funny. Pretty much assert that we are creating a fun tweet. So we have, let's count it, vars 1, banana, var 2. The second variable has an assertion to verify avocado and the JS assertion of its length. And the first one has no assertions at all. It will create a couple of tweets. One tweet will be about just about banana. The second one will be the funny one about banana, and no assertions at all. So the first one will always pass. It's pretty much a dummy one, I would say. The second one will have a couple of assertions, and the third one will have one assertion. By the way, these are different types of assertions that I will explain to you in a moment. But first, let's actually run it to see something cool. But before we run it, let's read README file. Quick start, set up your API key. If you guys have never set up your API keys, I'm going to show you how to get it. You need to scroll to, let's see, you need to get to platform. I think it's partially cut on the video, so I'm just going to paste it right here. Platform, openai.com, API-keys. Pretty much navigate to this website, create a new one. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click here, and you can come up with a BS name for your test key. You can call it PromptFoo first, and then you can click create key. And then whenever you create it, you'll see it right here. You need to press copy, and then that's it. You will never be able to see it again. By the way, guys, it costs money. You'll have to put at least $5 on your account. I've been spending $200 per month, $12 per month with the different keys for different projects. Now, what we're going to do, we are going to create a new file called .env. And then inside of this .env file, we're going to paste the API key that we've just copied. And by the way, I'm going to remove mine so you guys will not be able to use it after this test. And then you're gonna have to create a variable, OpenAI key, and simply paste it here. So this is the format that we're gonna have to use. OpenAI underscore API underscore key equals to your key. Now we should be good to run it as it says here. Then edit your prompt variables, blah, 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 and run it. Cool, let's run it as it also said right here. I'm going to paste it, hit enter. And by the way, guys, feel free to slow this video down in case I'm speaking too fast or doing things very fast. All right, let's give it a second. It's running 12, as you can see. 10 out of 12 are done. Almost.
By the way, and while you are enjoying this video, I think you forgot to hit the like button below and to subscribe to our channel so you would not miss such a useful content as you're seeing right now. It takes only 3 seconds for you, but it's very important to thank this guy for high quality video. All right, let's continue.
Excellent. All right. 10 pass, 83% success, 2 failed, 17% failures. That's not a bad result at all. If you want, you can scroll up to see results here, but the best way to view or review your results is to run PromptFoo view. Then here we're going to select yes to open up a local server runner, and boom, that's the dashboard. For the first time, you might freak out and be like, oh wow, that's too many things, but let's hold on a bit. I'm going to zoom in and start reading these. So the first list is pretty much, for the first graph, is pretty much the same view right here. How many pass rate of the first one, pass rate of the second one, pass rate of the third one, pass rate of the fourth one, and other metrics. If you want, you can go through each of them, play around, but I want to concentrate on the most important topics for this video. So we would not waste our time going into details of everything, but only the most important ones. What does this table correspond to? Number one, on the top, you will see a combination of models, as it's said right here, GPT-4o mini, GPT-4o mini, and then we have different tweets. So write a tweet about a topic and write a let's see, I think my Mac is glitching. Write a concise, funny tweet about a topic. So same model, different prompts, as you can see right here. If we go right here to the right, you will see that we have 4o and also a combination of two tweets. So write a tweet about this topic, write a concise and funny tweet about this topic, 4o. So pretty much, if we go back, it's a combination of 2 prompts multiplied by 2 providers or LLMs. So first we grab this mini and we run 2 prompts right here, and then we grab the second one and we run 2 prompts with the 4o model and all the tests. So pretty much we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We have 3 tests for each combination. So 1, 2 for mini, then 1, 2, 4o, total 4. And then we multiply them by 3. 4 multiplied by 3 equals to 12, because we have test number 1, test number 2, and test number 3. Cool. So that's how we got to 12 cells in this table.
And by the way, if you're interested to become an AI test engineer and go through 6 weeks professional training where you will learn everything from the beginning all the way up to red teaming, I would be more than glad to invite you to join one of our free workshops that I run on bi-weekly basis. The link for it is right below this video. And if you want to start a career from scratch or learn automation or even machine learning, I have a link to schedule one-on-one with me, where you can ask me all questions about the courses we offer. It's right below the video, and let's enjoy the rest of it.
Now let's take a look at details. So pass, fail, multiple assertions, and then you can clearly see what's failing and kind of find the pattern. We have 2 models. Model number 1, model number 1, model number 2, model number 2. And we also have 2 tweets, right, for each model. Tweet number 1, tweet number 1, tweet number 2, tweet number 2. So the pattern is clear. The tweet number 1 is failing on both models on the third prompt, which actually on the third test, which is New York City. So only New York City and only write a tweet about the topic is failing. So let's go back and try to find out why after we read it. It says the output is enthusiastic, generic, description of New York City, but does not include a joke, punchline, but does not include a joke, punchline, wordplay, absurdity, or any clearly humorous element. It's cool, enthusiastic, but there is no fun. There is no joke. And the passing one said, comedic line. Cool, so this one is funny, clearly intended to be funny. And let's see, where the rent is as high as your chances of seeing a rat run for mayor. Ooh, that's the bad one. I hope nobody from the New York City is going to be watching this one. All right, now let's go back to the code and actually get into details. So the first one, the first prompt and the last test. The prompt said, write a tweet about topic. It didn't say anything about fun topic. The second one did say concise and a funny tweet. So the second one passing here, the second one passing here, the first one failing here, the first one failing here. It's clearly because we didn't specify in a prompt for it to be funny. But in an assertion, we do say ensure that the output is funny. and the assertion type is LLM rubric, which means we're grabbing another model to verify that this tweet is funny. So model number 1 is replying to this request or prompt, and model number 2 is verifying it that it's funny. So this is one of the most expensive, or probably the most expensive type of verification. Just like an end-to-end test in traditional testing, here it's called LLM rubric, or LLM as a judge. Now let's take a look at the previous 2 assertions. So this one right here is simply comparing every single prompt with another one and comparing if it is shorter. It pretty much prefers the shorter ones. And by doing this division right here, it's given a score, and PromptFoo will automatically give it a score and compare all of them. But since we did not add a threshold here of, for example, 0.8, which would be a success, that means there is no way it's going to fail. It will simply compare but never fail. So it's kind of useless as well, just as an example. This one will do the job. This one will contain that every single reply contains avocado, just like reject does. And you can clearly see type icon contains, which is pretty much an equivalent of dot includes in JavaScript, and I believe dot contains in Playwright and Cypress as well, as those are deterministic assertions. But one more thing that I wanted to show you guys here is a little more details before I let you go, because there are a lot of things to verify here, literally. PromptFoo is quite powerful. You can even take a deep analytics of each data set right here. I'm not going to run into those details. I want you guys to understand majority of basics right here. So number 1, tokens. How many tokens did we spend for this run? Latency, you can see the latency right here, 63.5 milliseconds. So pretty much it was a fast run. Actually, this one, that's the one that took the most, 1 minute and 4 seconds. All of the rest ones took 1.9 seconds, 1.5 seconds. This one was hanging for a while, if you remember. Not sure the exact reason, but whatever. And the most important piece of the puzzle, the cost. You guys will have to verify pretty much every one of these whenever you're going to be running it for your company. And cost evaluation is going to be one of the most important ones, because there is such a thing as the cost blowout. When there is a model replacement, a prompt replacement, pretty much a code update, I can say, and these can blow out and make your company lose thousands, if not millions of dollars even on a daily basis, depending on the scale. As you can see, this is a short intro, and if you guys want me to record a long introduction or an advanced version of it, simply leave a comment below saying PromptFoo advanced video, and I will record an advanced version of it soon. Was this video useful for you? If it was, leave a comment below and tell me what exactly you enjoy. Now, get some water, get some workout, and I'll see you on the next video after you will hit the like button below.